Spread a little aloha around the world at Breakfast with Bob.
Thank you, Poncho Man. Welcome back to Breakfast with Bob, our Kona edition. My name is Bob Babbitt. We are brought to you by Master Spas. As fuels go longer, Hoka Let's Fly, Form Smart Swim Goggles, Devore Wetsuits, Quintana Roo, Zoot, the original triathlon brand, Premium Plus Sports, and of course, our Challenged Athletes Foundation. Our next guest, I don't know, just the greatest female triathlete in history. 5 Ironman World Championship titles, 570.3 World Championship titles, 2-time Olympian, 3-time Challenge Roth champion, just went 8:08, the fastest time ever for a Ironman distance race for a woman. The great Daniela Ryf joins us. Daniela, how are you?
Hey Bob, thanks for the introduction. I'm good, thanks. Here in Kona early this year, so really experiencing the island. It feels good to be back here.
So, but this normally you would go to Maui. This year you decided to go to Kona instead?
Yeah, I mean, I just thought I'll do something different this time. I trained in Kona 2015 after the race, and I figured, with when you come early, it's not going to be that busy, and I actually really like it so far. It's the first time I'm doing the prep here on the island, and I thought, this race here in Kona might be my last race here, and I really want to experience the island a bit more and just really soak it in.
It's funny, we go over every year for us in late November for Ultraman, and people who are just in Kona don't quite understand that island has so much to it. You can climb up to the volcano, and there's all these different forests and waterfalls, and you over on the Hilo side. So where have you been riding?
I only came 2 days ago. So today I did the loop towards by what's it called? Waimea.
Yes.
So on the high one up, and then on the Queen K on back. So 140K loop. Was pretty windy out there. So going out, having a slightly uphill. I didn't really realize you're going up to, I think, almost 3,000 feet. And I was just thinking, oh my God, this is tough. But then I realized also I was going up and against the wind. So that helped a bit for the mind. But yeah, it's definitely, I mean, the nature here is absolutely, it's stunning, but also, the elements are brutal. And I think mentally it's good to be prepared. Doing a few rides, on the Queen K when you come back tired. I do believe it will help me for race day. So
nice. So we have not chatted since you had that epic performance at Challenge Roth. It was one of those days. I was just talking to Laura Phillip, and she goes, hey, when you have a day where you have a great race, and then Daniela's 10 minutes up the road with an 8:08, you just tip your hat. What can you do when someone has a day like that? Could you tell early on that you were having a special day?
Yeah, it was indeed a very special day. I didn't expect it at all. I was coming into Roth with quite a bit some struggles I had. For a long time, I felt nauseous all the time in training after Ibiza, and so I did actually less training coming into Roth than normal. And maybe it was a good thing. I was definitely recovered, and I knew pretty much from the morning, I was really excited to give it a go and just give my best. And I felt like I had nothing to lose. I really wanted to just, go hard. And when I was on Fanella's feet, I already thought, okay, in a swim,
Yes.
that's going fast. And I could see like we were leading quite a bit. And yeah, that's where I thought, okay, that it's now or never. You really gotta, try to go for it. And I mean, I tried to go fast in Roth twice, and it didn't really happen. And even though I didn't think I was fitter, I think it just everything came together perfectly. And with the new material, and also, of course, on the day where you just have to be able to have the legs. And yeah, that day definitely everything came together. And being on the bike, I felt really, really good from the start. And I just pushed and thought I'm going to blow up, and I didn't blow up, and then also showed my best marathon ever. So definitely, yeah, it couldn't have gone any better. I think it was, yeah, there's no point in the race where I thought could have gone better. So it would, yeah, it's very rare you can call a long distance race the perfect race.
Yeah, it was definitely the perfect race. So when you say that this could be your last Kona, because obviously it's every other year now that we're in Kona, but you had an opportunity to check out at least on television while they're covering it, the Nice course, and that suits you well with all the climbing. I bet you looked at that course and said that would be fun.
I did watch the race, and yeah, to be honest, I straight away went to look for some accommodation. And yeah, I'm definitely keen to do that race next year. So I believe that could be a big goal. And yeah, I mean, it's, you know, in one way it's a little bit sad the men are not here now. In the other way, we have like now the separate races where the women have their own. But I think, yeah, Nice definitely looked spectacular, and I would be keen to give it a go on that course.
When you come across the finish line at Roth, the fact that Chrissie Wellington was there, that had to be pretty cool. She had gone 8:18, and at that time when she had gone 8:19, then she went 8:18, and people were like, that's going to be, who's ever going to go faster than that? And then you take 10 minutes off of that. Pretty cool to have Chrissie there.
Yeah, it was a very special moment. You know, I have so much respect from her, and I mean, she held that record for so long, and it's absolutely incredible that we were not able to break it before, and it just shows how good she was. And you know, that's before the carbon plate shoes and you know, all the aerodynamic things. So yeah, she definitely set the bars back then, and to be able to share that moment with her and actually feeling like she was happy for me. I think she was happy to pass it on. And yeah, I'm interested to see who is going to break my record. I believe we will go faster eventually, and I have some girls in mind who can do that. So I would definitely also like to be there maybe in 5, even maybe less years. I don't know. We'll see.
So the way you're talking, it's almost like you're sort of savoring the last parts of your career. Do you see yourself racing for a number of years more?
No, not that long. I mean, I'm getting older, but I don't feel old, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, I see this year, you know, Kona as a big goal. Then next year, Nice, and possibly the PTO World Championship Series. Looks like, I mean, we're living in a really interesting phase in triathlon.
Yes.
And still, I want to be able to, you know, stop when I enjoy it the most, and also when I'm still, you know, at the top. And I think, yeah, after that, I think soon I'll then maybe head to some other projects.
So when I look back, and we went through this last time, since 2014, you've raced 54 times and won 45. I mean, that is just ridiculous. 45 out of 54 races, you not just podium, you won those races. When you look back on your career, I mean, obviously, most of us feel you're the greatest female triathlete of all time. How do you look at your career?
Yeah, I'm definitely very grateful. I never, not in my dreams, expected to or dreamed of, you know, to be able to achieve what I did. And I feel like I have a bit of the two careers, you know, with the short distance career, which was maybe a little bit less successful. Still, I felt like racing at the Olympics and finishing 7th, to me personally, was a super good race. And also having, you know, the world, how do you call it? WTC race in Seoul, which I could win. So that was kind of the first part, and then, you know, it was close to actually stop because I was sick, and then I tried to go long, and yeah, I mean, what then happened is just, it feels a little bit unreal, you know. I feel very grateful, and also, yeah, definitely proud as well that I could you know, still over, I mean, it's now 10 years since or 9.
Yep.
since I started doing Ironman races, and yeah, definitely experienced a lot of great memories. You know, lots of great moments. Met amazing people in that journey, and yeah, definitely fall in love for the sport even more. And yeah, it definitely feels very special to be able. The last 10 years were a little bit crazy.
Well, it's interesting because we met for the first time in 2014 when you came over and got second place. And when you came across that line, it was like you had won the race, because that, even though you had led for a big chunk of it, being on the podium there for your first time out, you were so excited. And I'm sure as soon as that was over, you're thinking, okay, I got second. I led for a ton of this. Now I can go get ready to go win this thing.
Yeah, it was, I mean, it showed me that what I was capable of, but also I was definitely proud of that performance. I left it all out there, and I think that's how I also kept racing, you know, just trying to go for your luck and don't hold back, and, you know, yeah, just show your best, and then see what the result gives you. And that, I mean, I crossed that finish line there in 2014, and pretty soon, I mean, I was happy, but also pretty soon after, yeah, definitely, I felt like I wanted to go back and win it again, win it then the year after. And I'm happy that it worked out under a lot of pressure on myself, but it worked out well in 2015. Yeah.
The races that stick out the most to me, the last year, I think after Oceanside, people were like, okay, Daniela's done. She's 10th. She got disqualified, and then it seems when you have a nice long training block leading into a race, that's where you do best. So here you have this nice long training block, and you're down in Sedona, and you're getting ready for St. George, which is very much like that. And I think you shocked a lot of people by dominating that race. And you could see you don't show a lot of emotion a lot of times. But when you came across that line and thrust out the 5 fingers and let people know I'm back, and don't throw dirt on me yet, I think I can still do well in this sport. That race must have meant a lot to you, because it was one of those days that was a phenomenal day. Some Kat Matthews and other women were with you on the bike, and it seemed like you enjoyed that. It was like, hey, this is great. Let's mix it up, and whoever wins wins.
Yeah, I mean, that race is definitely means a lot to me. I think after Oceanside, I did feel like lots of people kind of wrote me off, and back then I definitely think like that was when the Angry Bird kind of came back. You know, I wanted to prove them wrong, and yeah, I mean, after Oceanside, I went to Sedona and just kind of really dig deep, and luckily it worked out well then in St. George. I feel it was a little bit different now. I don't feel as much anger than I used to. It's kind of interesting. Maybe it's getting older. I feel really happy with my life in general.
Yes.
So this time when I was not doing so well in my in Lahti, I just wanted to, you know, get it right again, but I didn't feel like, I don't feel any anger at the moment. So I don't know if that's a bad thing. I mean, training has been up and down, especially, yeah, like in St. Moritz as well. Was really struggling with the altitude this year. Kind of got how do you call it? Got diagnosed with a bit of long COVID after I had COVID again, and that was kind of a rough patch. But I felt like since I came down from altitude, I feel much better. The how do you call it? The energy is back up much more, and yeah, I feel really grateful and happy to be here. I feel like I want to, yeah, just simply show a good race, and I also feel like I did whatever I could in my power to prepare the best I can, even though the preparation was not always that easy.
Well, it's hard to prepare. You just recently lost your dad, and that had to be so hard for you because you guys were so close. And I love looking at all the photos because obviously your love of the outdoors came from your dad. And somehow it seems sort of selfish to go out and ride and run and swim when somebody close to you is dealing with something that horrific. Has it been hard to focus on training? Because that's not important when you've got other things that are in your life.
Yeah, I mean, it's the story is a little bit deeper than most people might think. My dad had a bad accident 3 years ago, and so we've been in hospital and looking after him a lot in the last 3 years, which now it's not such a big surprise that he eventually died. So that time to actually, have time to say goodbye was actually really helpful. It felt really hard to see him like this. And in the end, it was also a little bit relief that he could finally go because he was suffering a lot. And I think, of course, it's hard. I mean, it's like this final goodbye. But having, that time to actually say goodbye, to tell him everything you wanted over such a long time was probably the harder thing, I would say, because I would go before the race in Dubai, they called me, like late at night. And they said, yeah, he might die in the next week. And so we ran to the hospital, we visit him. And it's, that's the stress. That was the stressful part, to be honest, to never know, like, is it the last time? And
right.
Yeah, I think now we could also definitely appreciate it that we had the time. And I think it makes you realize that you have to tell people who you like, that you like them. And it's very, it's nice to be able to show or say everything you want to a person before they can go.
Exactly. So when your godson introduces you now, has he changed his tune in terms of she used to be good at triathlon to, she's still pretty good?
Yeah, I think he doesn't care so much, he's just happy. We're going to Europa Park when I'm back from Kona, so that's what he's excited about at the moment. I don't think, it matters how I race. He's pretty proud of me. I think a friend once visited like for a school thing, and he was in his class, but he didn't know he was my friend. So they asked, like, do you have any athlete? Like, do you have, they were talking about athletes, and he was definitely putting up the hand and saying, talking about me. And so yeah, he's definitely proud, and it's nice that he's following a little bit. But I mean, they're kids, they should not worry too much about just winning.
What do you want to do when because you obviously have been, you've done a lot of schooling in nutrition, and what do you want to do when you do decide to move away from the sport?
I haven't really thought it through yet. I think it would be too early to make all the plans, because I'm still in my head very much focused for this race. Then next year we'll see what I will do, but I think I still want to, race for another year. I would definitely love to help people be active. I think that's something I always enjoyed a lot. Motivate people, inspire people, help them to, live a good lifestyle. And also, I mean, that can be in activities, but also nutrition. So yeah, whatever then opportunity comes up, I definitely would love to keep working with the partners I have. They're all, across the categories. And I think there's definitely some partners I could do work together to also to work on some projects. But I mean, we're talking a little bit, but not, it's nothing concrete, because at the moment it's really, you can't have too many thoughts in your head. I think it's important to have, have them at some times. I do them always in the off season. It's the time where I make these thoughts, because I have more energy and I feel like more inspired for everything. Where when you train hard, the thoughts are more about, should I get up, or should I just keep on lying, on the couch because you're too tired. So, I mean, especially in altitude, I can really tell the brain goes much slower. It's really extreme. I feel my brain is really lightened up a bit again since I left altitude. It's been not very nice. I slept like 14 hours a day. Just literally had no energy for anything else than train and sleep and eat.
Wow. Has it been, because for a while there, you and Brett, not that you separated, but you were coaching yourself and doing your own thing. This year, you've been back working with Brett. Is it now that you're, has the relationship changed? Is it more where you guys work together on a plan than taking that break? Was that a good thing?
Yeah, definitely. I think especially for me, I felt like I wanted to explore a bit in training and also I didn't really try so many new things. I know what worked, and I also kept those training sessions. Mm-hmm. But I felt a little bit more free in just how I want to put the trainings together, and that was a little bit of an experiment, and that I really enjoyed that, and I think it helped me to lengthen my career, because I had that year or two. I think it was actually 2, and so now, I mean, there's pros and cons. I feel to have a bit more of a guidance, and also especially in St. Moritz, having the timetables where at 7 o'clock the swim training starts, that can help you a lot at certain times. There's also certain things I would do different, but I mean, it works well, and I think that's part of like we had a good history, and also I think this year it showed with Roth that I'm on the good path, and our relationship definitely changed. I mean, he's not really around a lot when I'm training, so that still gives me a bit of freedom, which I really appreciate, and still you have like that guidance where when you're not sure like what to do, you reach out.
Yeah. Brett's that type of guy that he's always going to be there. And it seems like, I know with Nicola, he was able to change from, he was the guy to, they became very collaborative. They worked together on the training because she had proven that she knew how to train. You know how to train. You've been doing it. You've been doing it long enough. How have things changed in Switzerland in terms of awareness of the sport? Do you see more and more people participating in triathlon?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely young athletes. I mean, I'm the training program I'm supporting in my hometown. They're definitely going full gas, and it's definitely nice to see to inspire young athletes trying to reach their dreams. In terms of numbers, to be honest, I don't know like exactly if it really raised, but I think with people definitely know the sport. I think Natascha, Nicola definitely helped there a lot as well.
Yep.
And what Nicola does for Kids Cup, seeing, especially in St. Moritz, I can see that there's more kids doing triathlon, which is it's great to see. I mean, there's this, Samira, she's coaching the young ones, and there's a lot of young ones just, going to the swim club or swim training, and then also the triathlon. So it's nice to see that there's opportunities for the kids starting triathlon early.
So Natascha will be in Kona this year because she's getting inducted in the Hall of Fame, and she's got 6 wins. You've got 5. Seems like the perfect opportunity, right? She have her at the finish line there.
I actually didn't even know that. So that's how little I care about that one. I mean, for me, it's not the numbers of titles that I really think she is, definitely, she's an icon, and I have so much respect from her. And I never thought that, I didn't know that that's, I thought she had 7 or 8, but no, that must be Paula.
Paula's got 8, and she's got 6. You've got 5. Chrissie's got 4, and Rinny's got 3.
Okay, you know it all. You know more than me. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's really like the race itself, my opponents on the race day, how the race unfolds. That's these memories, and like a little bit that painting you're trying to paint, create art, and every time you create something new, because it's never going to be the same race. There's different things happening for yourself, but also from the other athletes. And yeah, I think that makes it special. I hope not to have another jellyfish, that's for sure. But the rest, I'm quite open for it.
The jellyfish made
Maybe well.
that was great on the championship cake, though. Having the jellyfish on the championship cake at Four Seasons was pretty.
Yeah, and they made the story really good. So I mean, it's much more dramatic if you can tell people you got stung by a jellyfish and then won the race. People always react much. I mean, it was an extreme race. I think it's probably the race. I would say it's a race I'm most proud of.
Yes.
In terms of also mental, how I could turn it around mentally. But yeah, we'll see what happens. It's 2.5 weeks or so. I mean, I can now trying to, just take the days. The load is quite high at the moment. And then, yeah, I mean, if I could have a day, where the body just wants to go and not being sick, that would be wonderful. That's actually all I'm hoping for.
Have you felt better since you came down from altitude and came to Kona?
Yeah, much better. I feel the heat itself is not such a big problem. But yeah, the altitude was really hard on me this year. I mean, I had Corona in autumn, and then again, probably just before Lahti. Because with the lungs, we did some tests and it was really, really, really bad. So now that's good again. I could recover from that. And then the altitude was still, of course, hard on it, but I'm quite sure it helped me to get fit, even though I didn't know. So, in altitude, everything is harder. And I have this year the most hours of altitude training ever. So yeah, I was pretty much from January, I was there till Ibiza, and then all summer. And then as well till in September. So it would be around 7 or 8 months. And so we'll see. I mean, now I got time to adjust to the heat. And I mean, it's not like I didn't train since Roth. So I hope, you just gotta have one day where you feel good. And even then, if you don't feel good, you can still do well. So I'm actually quite positive. Since I came down from altitude, I feel a bit of a different person. So that helps a lot.
Well, that's what you're supposed to do when you come down from altitude. That's the whole idea, right? That you're fatigued up at altitude, and then you come down and reap the benefits of that. And hopefully that you don't beat yourself up too much at altitude, so you still have something left when you're down at sea level. So
it's a balance act. It's always, I mean, I always reacted well, and also coming down from Roth. So we'll see what happens.
Love it, Daniela. So and then when you went to 70.3 Worlds, was that sort of a last minute decision, or were you planning to do that from the beginning?
No, I always wanted to do that. I had opportunity between Milwaukee and Lahti.
Yeah.
And with the travel to go to Milwaukee and back, I decided, or actually, with Brett, he really didn't want me to do the travel because we would miss out on training. Eventually, I got sick just before Milwaukee anyway. So I was 2 weeks out in bed anyway. But yeah, I really was keen to do well in Lahti. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. I mean, it was great to see Taylor race so strong. So, I mean, you can't always win, I guess. And it was, in the end, I mean, I still liked being there. We had a good week, and
right.
I definitely feel like I got some learnings out of it, even though they were not all positive. On race day.
So Taylor, we don't know for sure. She signed up. She could be racing Kona, or she might just be going over to hang out with her mom who's racing. But if she's in the race, how does that change it?
It would be great. I feel like she could be the next big star in the long distance racing. And I think if she decides to make the move, I would love to race her. And I think it will be hard. I feel like she's strong in all three disciplines because, yeah, it seems like she doesn't really have a weakness. I think the only weakness you could find is that she's not so experienced in long distance. And I also know that is not always a weakness because you don't really know how long it is.
Yes.
So yeah, it would definitely make the race very interesting if she would race. I'm hoping for it.
It'd be really fun. The women's field is so deep, and having the showcase. Obviously, I think all of us want the men and women racing in the same place. Because I loved having the men out there cheering the women on last year, the women out there cheering the men on. I think there's a camaraderie and a community that's important to keep together, that I don't like the separate. But at the same time, you guys own the island. There'll be 2,000 women racing in Kona, and that will be the only game in town, which will be really, really cool.
Yeah, it will be different. I think training on Queen K will feel a bit different. I definitely feel like, so far it's been very quiet. There's not really today I rode quite a while and I saw two cyclists, and so it's very, very quiet at the moment, but it will get busier. And I think for training, it might be better that there's less people, but definitely I feel like, I will miss the men. I always enjoyed, learning from them and being around them. There's lots of amazing athletes there, and also I think for families it makes it very hard if you have to kind of split up and couples who have to race now like separate or I'm not sure if that's the right thing to do for the community, but I think the race itself is going to be really big. The pressure will be on for the women, and I think we'll definitely make sure that it's going to be a hell of a show.
It's going to be a hell of a show. Daniela, thank you for always being so generous with your time. I always enjoy our conversations. You're the person who wins the Ironman is the person who represents our sport, Ironman World Championship. And you've done such an amazing, really for the last decade of representing the sport as such a great, great role model. Thank you for everything you bring to the sport.
Thanks, Bob. It was nice talking.
Daniela Ryf has been our guest again, the greatest female triathlete of all time. Check us out. We start our live interviews on October 9th at Huggos on the Rocks. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time. See ya.
Bye.